Okay, so it's on. So it's currently like 12 a.m. and I want to make this video diary for my own reference, and I want to make a reflection on my relationship with one of my partner that I have been with for a couple of months. Well, it has been like almost 2 weeks since we have decided to like take a break to each other and go no contact for some reason that we wanted, because we thought that our mental state were not very nice, and being together with our current mental state, it's not a very ideal thing. And we did not really make a closure on whether we are like broken up or not, but instead we just want to. We basically said that it would be better for us to like maybe recover from what have happened this couple of months, and basically get our shit together and maybe potentially see each other in a couple of months or maybe in a year or so, from what she said. Well, in this video, I won't dive into much detail on what happened, but instead, I just want to like basically share my own reflection, and also something that I sort of would hope to have told my past self on what I can have done better, and maybe also take you as a reference, I guess, as a queer individual. So personally, I am like non-binary, and I have my own like gender dysphoria struggles, and as well as I have my own, um, some sense of my own kind of like insecurities on some sort of attachment issues too for myself. And it's quite apparent while we're spending time together, and there were a lot of dramas from both of our sides. So there are dramas from my side. Sometimes I will have some reactions and some like weird emotional response towards certain things that have happened. It's more like something is more like avoidant kind of attachment style. Like I tend to be like a bit more avoidant on emotion specifically, because in terms of emotion, I am not very expressive in the way how I would like to like share my own emotions or express my emotions, like be it like being happy or being sad or being angry. I tends to be very like passive aggressive, and it's kind of normal for people to feel like they're like walking on the eggshells. It's something that it's just I've been learned how to do that, and I'm trying to be more aware on how people would perceive me being a bit like a ticking bomb in some, like in certain scenarios. It tends to be something that is when it's something that is like more when it touches something that's more vulnerable to myself, then that walking on eggshells thing would become apparent. However, in general, like simple things being like, let's say, group mates or like other kind of like maybe more casual conversations, I can be quite easygoing. However, when things become more serious and becoming more like talking about like dating or stuff, and also related to my own like queerness and as well as my own dysphoria, well, this is actually where the things become complicated, and I guess it's kind of be a potential driving factor on creating some dramas or some relationship issues. And that is what I've observed in this couple of months. And in some of the things, it just it it create a lot of like potential point for stirring up some conflict or basically thing, because like it's very um fundamental to how I perceive myself. And sometimes that's for sure that I might be overly worried about how people perceive me, especially as an queer individual, someone who's not very, rather not very, let's say, proudly open on being non-binary. I'm just a bit more reserved. I'm kind of a more conservative, private kind of person. I don't really like announce my identity that much, beside that one occurrence in the classroom. But anyways, so without like putting too much detail on what happened, I would say that because of my situations of being queer and not like like a heterosexual person, I the kind of like the dating pool I have available is kind of limited, and therefore, when I got the opportunity to get close to somebody that I value, who I consider someone I love as a friend and also as a significant other, I become so quickly attached to it, and I would have that internal sense that I would like to hold on that, because I just thought that it is so scarce. Like I will have that scarcity mindset, and I mean this is the first thing that it might be potentially a problem that I have to face, is that like would sometimes I would because of the scarcity mindset, I think I might um elude or just like ignore a lot of things that have to be dealt with, like potential compatibility between me and my partner, or maybe some of the actions or some of our habits that just tells both of us that maybe it's not a good match after all. But with that scarcity mindset, you just really want to like force things to happen, even though it's not intentional or intentional at all. Like that sense of being afraid of being lonely or like losing the opportunity for getting close to somebody, you just become desperate, especially when I become more emotionally vulnerable and I need somebody to be there. And where and this is like kind of the thing, yeah. I, as a person being queer, I kind of find it difficult to find people to like for support, and when I found my partner, um, I would understand why I might unintentionally put a lot of pressure to her, because I was like basically putting a lot of expectation on her for being, for example, my best friend, being my partner, and being somebody who I talked about my own emotions and all issue. Like, you know, ideally speaking, it should be spread across different people in a community. But for me, I'm still not at the stage on finding people, in the sense that I can like locate different people and delegate different kind of things to people, or also or maybe focus on like introspections and focus on like self improvement. All these things. Balancing out between how to like not over like basically not over pressuring your partner for being what kind of identity you are, right? So that was like the second thing. It's like if you are like a queer person, or you are already like chronically lonely and you have not much support, you might basically have a very very high expectation on the one that you love. I mean, in terms of expectation, it doesn't have to be like you having a like a mindset or like a checklist that you want for people. Like it just manifests itself in different way. For example, in the way how you hope your partner to be. Like maybe you hope her to be someone who is like very patient, or have to listen to your bullshit every day. Or I mean, I'm not saying that I've done that, but I meant it manifests in the way how you wish your partner to act, right? And it's it's yeah. So there's a few things, right? So and it also happens to her too. Like maybe like she has her own attachment issues too, and like she really hope for love, like, and kind of have like abandonment issues. So she would also cling on to whoever, disregarding maybe whether if it's really compatible or not. And the thing that might lead to it, the problem that might lead to us is that basically I would just say that um, it will lead to disappointment. Um, at the moment, I'm still quite lost in the way how I could like love someone, and I just don't have the tool available to be the person to be the a best partner. and it's kind of frustrating at the same time. And well, she has her own challenges, and I have my own challenges. Uh, at first, we will say that we don't want to like commit that quickly because we know how fast thing. I mean, like we originally we sort of hope that things can go slowly, but there were a lot of like driving factors that sort of unable to make it slow. You know, there were like some dramas that happened between my partner and I, and also another person, and the drama has gone for a month, and it drained both of our energy a lot, and we sort of like, I guess maybe mistaken the time that we spend together and the proximity between us. You know, we see each other like too much, and we might have mistaken that as, you know, us being like, you know, bonded. I mean, we're bonded kind of sense, but I mean, maybe we sort of think that um, it's more like it. I don't want to say it's fake. What happened between us? It's just like we mistaken like chemistry instead of intimacy, intimacy, or maybe love, something like that. And it just created a lot of confusion between us because we weren't sure what the position that we were on. And so basically, again, with that, with me being a queer person, having this scarcity mindset, have my own abandonment issues, thus leading me wanting to like cling on to whatever person that I have, and also another thing is like having relatively like low self-esteem or self-worth. Um, we we just, our nervous system just told both of us, or maybe at least for me, that you have to cling on to her because maybe you won't find another person like her. And is it the case? No. But I mean, it's just a very scary thought to think that maybe you won't find another person like her. But and now as we slowly like let go, and now we both take our time to for our own self heal, I have to learn that it's not the end of the world. Even though if things doesn't work out in the future, um, it's okay. Um, there's always a way out in life. So it takes some time for me to like slowly learn about it or like grieve the loss of what happened. So yeah, like all of these factors, again, scarcity mindset, abandonment issues, low self-worth, all these things sort of leads us going way too fast. Like we did reach some milestone, but I thought in some of the milestone could be let's say, ideally speaking, could be like extended in a way that is like more in a more healthy timely manner, because everything seems like compressed in a couple of months, and a lot of the good things and a lot of the bad things, they both, like we went through a lot of the milestone. um yeah, we succeed. The highs are very high, but the lows are also very low. And you know, us humans, we tend to be more, I guess, more sensitive to negativity. And when bad things happen, we either magnify it or like intensify it because of our internal echo chamber, let's say. And it did happen, and it just undermined a lot of the successful thing that we have done. And at the end of the day, it just drained both of our energy to the point that we are just so exhausted. And basically, all these factors leads us things going too fast, and we do not have time and space for us to breathe and let ourselves recover from every things that we have done so far. So this is the issue, that we're going way too fast. even though we sort of said that we do not want to rush into commitment too quickly because it would even suffocate even more. But even though we said that, I think emotionally we still automatically would have that expectation of us being committed to each other, and because at least at least from my perspective, I know that both of us are like very genuine, very like real person. Like we are very serious in the way how we see life and how we do things, including dating. And it just created a perfect storm for both of us, trying to be the best version, but yet um, in this everything compressed and things happening in a very quick pace. Unfortunately, we sort of, bring, you know, kind of like the newer side and also the best side of ourselves, but also simultaneously, it also brought us like the worst side of ourselves. And honestly, in this couple of months, in some of the time, kind of love how I become, but also at the same time, I sort of felt very detached to myself because I kind of turned into somebody who is like I'm not quite proud of, including like the decision that I made or like the thoughts or like the mental state I have been. I wasn't proud of me at all, and some of them are quite quote unquote out of character in some sense. I mean, by being out of character, I meant it's more like it's just like something that I'm not so used to, especially in terms of like, emotional expressions or dealing with this, trying to navigate yourself with somebody who you value. Like basically try new experience. Like it's some of them. I would say new experience. It takes time for me to get used to it and also learn new skills and also learn new way of communications for sure. Yeah, but I meant by not being proud. It's like I kind of wish that some of the mistake can be avoided if we haven't gone way too fast. I guess you just have to learn it the hard way, I guess. And this is the time that I have to be acknowledged that like this is the hard way of learning it. Like this is like the result of control, getting controlled by your own insecurity and also your scarcity mindset and your abandonment issues, thus leading to everything going too fast. This is like the result. I mean, everything go too fast and you're making decision in a very compressed manner. You make bad decision that you felt regretful. You become somebody who you do not feel proud of. You just hate the version that you have turned to in this time period. And I have to be very honest, I wasn't proud of myself or what I've become. It's not something that is like personal to her. I would like to see that like we just happen to be on the same journey, and I think I brought the best and I mean the worst version of her, unfortunately. And she also like encouraged me to be better, but also I wasn't able to like prevail. And it's kind of sad to see this happen too. I guess, when people say like, the song said like wise man only fool rush in. I guess that is the thing. We both of us are somebody who's like very naive in the way how we see love, which both of us are very young. We have our own wounds, so naturally, we really have expectation, but we do not allow times to take its own, pace. We do not like we weren't patient at all, and the consequences is our health. So these are like some of my reflections on our relationship so far. When I feel like this, of course the damage has been done, but honestly, at least now it gave me a bit of clarity of, well, now you know what happened, what other thing that could be avoided. And also now, sort of, now it will lead to a very natural question, is like, now what? So after we have decided that we have to take a break for both of us, take the time to recover from all these dramas and things that have happened that have drained our energy a lot. We have to spend a couple of months doing our own stuff, regaining some of our energy and self-worth, self-esteem, be a better person, grow, reflect, and maybe came to a conclusion on whether it's if we are compatible after all. Like we did say that maybe give a couple of months. From her side, she did talked about maybe she would like to go to somewhere else, or maybe change school. As much as I, do not want her to like defer for her year and also like or maybe change school, but she has her own choice. She has her own rights to choose the one choice that is, best suit for her, right? So, ideally speaking, if both of us in a couple of months we return back to a better stage, and I would hope that we could see each other, and maybe we can have a new, fresh new start. We can address some of the things that have happened before and how we hope things could be better in the new chapter that we start. You know, um, now I consider like the first chapter between me and her finished for a few weeks ago. I wish when the second chapter begins, if if we were want to begin that, I kind of wish that we could address. We can talk about what went wrong or like what went south. Let's say I don't know want to say wrong because maybe some of the thing it just went quite well. It just like in terms of the schedule. I mean the time demand. It's just like something that have to digest. I wish that when we met again, we could really evaluate like what went wrong or what could be done better. And also, we were like, how can we re-strategize us being maybe a friend, or like, can we like redefine our friendship a bit more securely again? Or maybe after a couple of months of dealing with our own challenges and having self reflection, maybe either one of us come to the conclusion that maybe it's not a good idea for us to be a partner or to be a friend. I have to prepare for me to face the harsh fact that if that's the case, then it's okay. I have to learn it to get through it anyways because that's life. I mean, it it will not always go on your way. So because like the fact is like we will be seeing each other for the rest of 4 years in our study. So either we find some way to coexist and be in good terms, or maybe we just find a way to like part, so that we won't hurt each other even more. But we'll see. I really do hope that maybe after a while we both will grow and we'll learn. Maybe it would take some time for us to grow and learn and be a better person, so that maybe we can spend more time together in the future by sacrificing the present time of not rushing in. I mean, this is what she said. Like maybe we should see less in the present time so that we can see more each other in the future. Like it it really gave me hope or optimism. Like I really want to grow. I want to be a better person, and I really want to be proud of myself that I could um, take the initiative to be a better person. And maybe one day I can also would feel proud that she could see the grown up part of me, and maybe I could also see her, the grown up part of her, and we could celebrate that we have kept our promise that we will get our shit together. But I think it will be a very long journey because we are facing different things at the same time: our academic life, personal life, relationships, and also different kind of things. It won't be easy for her, for sure. it won't be easy for me for sure. But that's life. We are in a transitional stage of life, just freshman, you know. She just finished her high school not so long. For me, I just finished 2 years of gap years, and also I have my own challenges, my own family, all this thing. It's, I have to like pat my back and just like tell myself it's not easy at all. And to know that you have gone so far into this point, well, you should be proud of yourself. Just celebrate, like. And I really kind of hope that in the future, when I look back to this time period, I would be very proud, and I would look back and say, yeah, I conquered it, and I could use all this experience for future references, and also for maybe giving tips to other people that maybe on the same track. I mean, on the same, facing on the same challenges or something like that. And yeah, I this is like my hope, right? As much as I wish that thing could be, good for both of us, yeah, I have to be realistic, and also I have to focus on myself. So I also hope her to focus on herself too, because it's like for the best. So yeah, this is like my reflections of my relationship as a queer individual, and I hope that you'll find something out of it, or just listen to my rant. If you listen to my rant, thank you for listening, and I guess this is the end of the video. Bye.